What is up, everybody? We are back for another episode of Palm City Chucks, and it is NFL Draft Week. It
Woo!
is such an exciting time. This is where the NFL season starts to really kick off again. Teams bring in new players, young guys. They find out what other holes they may need to fill after the draft through free agency. Soon after, we'll get into rookie camps, OTAs, then full on training camp. And before you know it, football is back. But first things first, on tonight's episode, we are going to be running through a first round mock draft, picks 1 through 32. Just to kind of let you know how we did this, we did not project any trades in our mock drafts, but they're going to happen. It's inevitable. We're going to talk about the teams that we think might be interested in moving up or down, but we're not going to project any of those in our mock drafts. We're going straight up. It's always fun to see what teams do here. I think we put these together based on what we think the teams are going to do, not maybe what we think that they should do.
Absolutely. There's a major distinction.
Very much so. Many of these picks that I wrote down, I would not make myself, but I think that they're a distinct possibility.
Yeah.
But anyways, let's get right into this, starting with pick number 1. Probably the one pick in this draft that I don't think anybody in this world has any question about what is going to happen there. Chris, I will kick it off to you, sir. Who's going number 1?
With the first pick in the 2026 NFL Draft, Las Vegas Raiders select quarterback out of Indiana, Fernando Mendoza. But yeah, it's Mendoza, which is interesting because I think he's a fine player. I like a lot of his, I like the kind of guy he is a lot. But as far as raw talent, it's not your typical first overall pick quarterback. So I'm curious to see how it all pans out, but I love that. And if this happens, which it's likely to, but I love that frickin' Kirk Cousins is going to mentor this guy because they're like the same dude, it seems like, personality wise. But yeah, just a bit of a down year, I guess, for quarterbacks because not the kind of guy you usually see going first out of the quarterback room.
So true, so true. And I just want to say the way you described that guy. Oh, I like the guy. I like the traits that he's got. You sounded like a girl breaking up with her boyfriend because he's just a nice guy, but he doesn't have that spark. That is what that reminded me of, man.
Mendoza cannot lay pipe. You've heard it here first. A nice guy, open the door for you, but he don't know what to do when the lights go out. You know what I mean?
I just want to say for the crowd, I said spark. So
yeah, we all know what the spark comes from.
Yeah, fair enough.
It's all about the spark plug. You know what I mean?
Jeez Louise. Oh, man. So I'll kick it over to me. Raiders, of course. I also have them taking Mendoza. I don't think there's any question here. I don't know if any teams are even going to try and bother to call about this pick. I'm not sure that there's many teams that want to try and call about this pick, to be honest with you, given the quarterback talent that we have in the draft here. But the Raiders probably have to take this shot. They certainly are building up a team around him to try to support him. I hope for his sake they let Kirk start at least at the beginning of the year and listen to Palm City Chucks and let the rookie quarterback sit and learn. Please do. But we'll see. But I got Mendoza going 1 as well. I don't really think there's any question there at all. I expect 0 surprises. And I just want to add, before I hand this back to you, the pick better be in as soon as that 10-minute goddamn clock starts. It better not be rolling down to a minute and a half and we're like, the pick is...
Oh, by the way...
months.
You're so right, and teams would be calling about it. The first pick always drives me nuts because some people will give you the excuse, well, they want to see if anybody wants to make. That would already be happening. That would have happened a month ago, let alone on draft night. But yeah, the pick should be in right away. But what they did do was they changed the clock. The first round is now an 8-minute clock. So
Ooh,
that at the
okay.
very least will help a little bit. But my issues really weren't with the clock. It's with how long the talking heads take to get it going. Like,
That's
because
that's fair.
so many times the pick is in, and granted the clock's running for the next team the second the pick is in, which is nice. But then they'll drag ass, and eventually, as you get later into the night, they never even catch up, and it's yeah, you're just waiting way longer than you should. But yeah, the last thing I want to say about Mendoza too is with his dope personality and just kind of the way he is, I like that he's going to Vegas because obviously you could fall into sin and bad things in Vegas very easily. But it's like this kind of quarterback and guy, like, I think he'll be fine. So I kind of like that part of it too. Like he's a sweet boy going going to Vegas. Uh, will it change him? Stay tuned.
I don't think there's any chance this man Fernando
Yeah, I don't think
Mendoza
so either.
changes just based off of what I've seen. I really don't think so.
Yeah,
But we'll see. You never know. I mean, young kid. I mean, he's younger than us, so you
yeah,
never know. I've certainly changed over the past few years. He might, but I doubt it. His family seems pretty set in stone there. But
yeah.
let's move on to pick number 2 here, New York Jets. Chris, what do you got?
I got the Jets. So team needs for them wide receiver, quarterback, edge. And I have them addressing edge here with an outside linebacker, David Bailey out of Texas Tech. Uh, Already a pick where if I'm the Jets, I'm not doing this, but I have a feeling they will. So here he is.
Yep. That's so fair. I came to the same conclusion on the team needs, wide receiver, quarterback, edge, and I've got them making the exact same pick here. David Bailey. I don't think that they will trade out of this number 2 spot either unless they are blown away, especially given that Aaron Glenn is definitely on the hot seat, and that is also why I landed on David Bailey going here rather than another guy that you might see mocked here a lot in Arvell Reese.
Mhm.
I think that Arvell Reese's ceiling is higher, but David Bailey is more pro ready. Aaron Glenn knows that he is on the hot seat, so he needs
Right.
somebody who's a little more pro ready to make an impact right away, try to save his job. So I've got David Bailey going to the Jets here as well at number 2.
Very nice. Yeah, and to your point about not trading out of this, absolutely not. Because kind of what we're getting at is this is the first pick of the draft. Because Mendoza's like kind of has to go there, but he's not the best talent in the draft. That's just, quarterbacks. And if you need one, you take the best one if you're the first pick. It's just what you do. So this is like kind of truly the first pick in the draft. So yeah, tough to get out of that spot for the Jets. And yeah, I think they stay too. Let's move on to pick numero trace. That's the Arizona Cardinals, which team needs for them offensive line, quarterback, and safety. I think they do none of that. Although at the 3 spot here, you got a chance to get the best O lineman in the draft. But that being said, I don't think it's a bad group, but I don't think there's a guy that's like, way up the charts. So I think they stay away, and this is where I have Arvell Reese going out of
All
Ohio State.
right. Since we've kind of gone chalk here 1 through 3, one other thing I want to bring up with you is, perusing other mock drafts, of course. It's fun to read all of them. And I've seen a very interesting guy landing here with the Cardinals at number 3 in a few of them. And that's Jeremiyah Love. And I really would not like that for the Cardinals at all. Running back, as we know, not a premium position. Jeremiyah Love is going to go high in this draft, but for the Cardinals, I just don't think it makes sense given their team right now. Especially they've got Trey Benson as well, who I think they need to really give a full season's run when he's healthy for a full
Yep.
year. And I just think it would be a bad move to take a running back here. So while some people are seeing that happen, and it very well may, I just don't. I don't love it. So I hope not for their sake.
Yeah, I agree. I think that would be a terrible move, and you're right. I'm seeing it everywhere in mocks. I actually, if I'm the Cardinals, I'm trading back. But I can see not trading back if you're getting a guy like Arvell Reese. But besides him, like if he does end up going to the Jets at 2, like even if Bailey's there, like I'm probably trying to trade out because they're just a team with so many needs. And I mean, we know the value a top 3 pick in the NFL draft has. I mean, you could set yourself up with a lot of young talent for the next few years, and that's exactly what this team needs. So
Yeah,
if I'm them, I'm seriously considering getting out of there. Um, but yeah, for the sake of no trades and Reese being available, absolutely they should go there rather than a guy like Love. But yeah, you're right. He's going to go early. It's just I don't think it should be them.
I agree. I agree. All right, take us to 4, Chris.
4, we have the Tennessee Titans. And I have them taking Carnell Tate out of Ohio State, wide receiver. Another move where it's like I think this is what they do, but I don't agree with it. I think Tate is going to be good, and I mean Ohio State just the receivers they produce out of there. It's tough to think Tate's not going to be at least good. Um, but he is not my favorite wide receiver in this draft. And yeah, but I think he's going to go probably first. And I think it's a fine move. I mean, I think they have some young pieces on offense, but Ward coming in the year 2, I think they're really going to make a point to make it even nicer for him. We saw they were very active in free agency, bringing together anyone who's ever worked with Salah and Dable, and they're just trying to build a team here. I think a lot of the moves were good, but yeah, they need some juice here. And who doesn't like a rookie wide receiver on a rookie deal? That's a good way to kickstart things. So I think it's a good move for them. But like I said, just Tate's not my number one guy. But yeah, I see him going here.
That's fair. That's fair. All right, so my pick for the Titans at 4. This is where I have Jeremiyah Love going. They have an aging Tony Pollard, Tajay Spears. I've never been really impressed with his full body of work here. And the reason I didn't go wide receiver, because I've got their top needs as edge and wide receiver. The reason I didn't go wide receiver here is because they spent 2 draft picks on receivers last year, who honestly produced pretty well for year 1 Cam Ward and Alec
Yeah.
Ayumanor and Kimari Dike. So I don't know that they're going to want to put their number 4 pick draft capital into a wide receiver here, especially when I don't think that this draft has a true top end wide receiver like we typically see. Overall, this draft class is a bit weak, in my opinion. So I think that they take another route, are okay with Ayumanor and DK, and maybe spend a second or third round pick on a wide receiver. But I think they look to address the running back position to give Cam Ward a running mate in the backfield with them here, and I think they take their chance on Jeremiyah Love.
Yeah. Yeah, I've seen that in plenty of mocks as well. And yeah, it's another way to help out Ward and this offense. I mean, stud running back will definitely help.
Yeah. Giants at 5.
Giants at 5. This is where I have Jeremiah Love going. With the recent trade of Lawrence Dexty, Sexy Dexy, the Giants now have another top 10 pick in the draft. So I think even more now than ever, they can use one on a position where I really don't think they absolutely need to do something like this. I mean, you got Scat and you got Tracy. It's a decent running back room already, but I feel like with this extra pick, it's going to be tough to resist a talent like Love here at 5. But yeah, with their team needs being D tackle, guard, and cornerback, it's certainly not running back, but I think it's going to be pretty damn tempting for them if he's there at 5.
Yeah, that is certainly a pick that sounds like something the Giants might do, and one that I would absolutely hate for their fans and their franchise. It just makes absolutely no sense
Yeah,
for them, given where they're at. But they damn well might do it.
yeah,
Um, for me, Jeremiyah Love is already off the board at number 4. So lucky for the Giants fans, it's not even a heart attack they have to have. They get to have a clear mind coming into pick number 5. And with their pick number 5, I have got the first offensive lineman coming off the board here in Francis Maigoa, tackle out of Miami. So I think they look to address some of their line problems, protect Jackson Dart a little bit more here coming into his second year.
Very nice. Yeah, definitely would be a smart move.
I'm
A
gonna
much
give
smarter
Harbaugh some
move.
credit. I'm gonna give Harbaugh some credit here and say that he changes some things. I really like a lot of the moves that he's made. Isaiah Likely really speaks to me. Sexy Dexy, they were just never going to get another deal done, I don't think. So fair enough to trade him and got the 10th
Well,
pick in the draft here. So I'm going to say that Harbaugh is going to have some weight when it comes to these picks. So I'm gonna give them a maybe more credit than they deserve. That they'll do something smart here.
yeah. Well, and that's just it. We don't really know yet. We don't know what kind of pull he's going to have. But yeah, it wouldn't be surprising if they, give him a lot of pull, including selecting players in the draft. But yeah, time will tell there. I hope, as a Birds fan, that it stays out of his hands because I like the way they draft.
That's fair. That's fair.
Let's move on to the sixth pick in the draft. This is the Browns pick. This is where I have edge rush Reuben Bain Jr. going. I think this is a really smart move for them. They're certainly a team with plenty of other needs, but I think to pair a guy with Garrett is just like the ultimate move, and I think Reuben Bain Jr. could be really special. And with rumors of Garrett being traded damn near every season, it's good to have a backup in case they do actually fall into that temptation. Because I mean, as we know, you're getting. I mean, hell, you might get 3 first-round picks for a guy like Garrett, even at his age now. Um, so I think it's a good idea to, get another good one in place there. And I just think it's a team with a lot of needs, and it's like kind of a best available situation. And maybe it's giving the Browns too much credit because, as we know, they're not too strong with their drafts. I could see them doing some real batshit stuff here. I mean, they still kind of need a quarterback. We don't really know. I think it would be so idiotic for them to draft one, but it's the Browns, so there's a possibility. Receivers definitely something they could look to do, or shore up that O line. In my mock, we still have the best O lineman available, so that would be a nice move for them too.
All right, fair, fair. This is a pick I could see possibly get it the trading down here, depending on the offers and how far they have to move. I don't think that the Browns are a team that would want to move too far, but I do think this could be one that does eventually move. I've seen this is a spot I see Carnell Tate going a lot in a lot of other mock drafts, and I don't necessarily love that given their current team build up, but it's fine. I agree they need a quarterback, but there's no way they're taking one here at 6. There's nobody else even worthy of top 10
A
consideration
Browns
here.
man.
Maybe. Who knows? I couldn't tell you, but the end of the day, I've got them taking Caleb Lomu, offensive tackle out of Utah here. So 2 offensive linemen in a row. They shore up the tackle spot a lot. One other thing about your Myles Garrett comments: at some point, they are going to have to accept those
Yeah,
trades.
it's
Like
just
at
so
some
much.
point, they've got to
It's
bring in the
so much
value, given
value.
that they're not even close to winning a championship. They're going to have to at some point. So
You're right, and like, just any player in the league even. Like, there's, like, maybe 3 guys you're not saying yes to 3 first-round picks for, and with each passing year and to your point, all the team needs they have and how far away they are from, being in contention, it's gotta get really tempting. Um, but yeah, I mean, he's a guy who's done a lot for that city and, he's stuck around through all their, you know, devastation. So if it does happen, I hope they at least give him a decent landing spot. I imagine contenders are going to be the teams going after him too. So um, he'll at least have a chance to compete if it happens. But yeah, it's destined to happen eventually. It's just, I mean, what teams are offering for him, it's so much capital.
yeah, so fair, so fair. All right, Washington at 7. What do you got?
Washington at 7. I think they should go wide receiver here. I think we could see Malachi Lemon go here. He's my favorite wide receiver in the draft class, but I didn't predict that. I predict him going cornerback, Mansour Delane out of LSU is who I have them taking, but yeah, I think they should go wide receiver for sure. But these teams, man, you got to get in the mind of the team.
Fair. I'll actually give Washington some credit here, and I do have them taking a wide receiver. The first wide receiver off of my board, also not my top ranked receiver, but who I think they will take, Carnell Tate. I've got them going Carnell Tate here at number 7.
Very nice. Um, yeah, and no risk of trading back here, right? I feel like they definitely use this pick.
I feel like they've got to use this pick. I
Yeah,
mean, they could though. They're a team that, I mean, they were in the playoffs 2 years ago. Won a couple games. You know, down year last year, Jaden Daniels got hurt, so maybe they believe in what they've got, and they're okay moving into the late first rounds. It honestly, I don't think I would be super surprised, but I think kind of like Kansas City needs to take advantage of their down year and use their top
right.
10 pick. I think Washington is kind of in a similar situation where they should just use this pick.
Yeah, I agree. And at the 8th pick, we have the Saints. This is where I have linebacker Sony Styles going.
Okay.
Uh, but yeah, I think it's honestly, this guy's just Weapon X. I mean, I feel like he's destined to be a great player, and he could do a lot of things. The Saints need this. I mean, they had such an old defense the last few years. Now we have Demario Davis gone. He's got a position to play off ball there, and with their aging edge rushers as well, I mean, there's room to have him off the edge too, if that is something they wanted to do. Granted, he is undersized. I see him more as an off-ball backer, but yeah, I think that's a good spot for him.
Yeah, just on Sunny side, I just really don't see him playing much edge at all in the NFL. I mean, he started out his college career at safety and moved into the
Yeah,
linebacker
he's
spot, which,
tiny.
you know, that's where he really flourished. So I think he is a true linebacker, and he will go in my first round, but it is a bit later. I just 8 is very early for a true linebacker. Very early. I was looking
It
back
is.
at some of the past 2 years drafts, and 2 years ago we didn't have any true linebackers going in the first round at all, and last year had Jalen Walker at 15 and Jihad Campbell at 31, and Jalen Walker at 15. Well, yikes. So I just he is a talent, so they could teams could break the mold for him here, but I don't know. He is a guy who he was tough to place on my board. We'll get to him later, but I did want to make that comment. Linebacker at 8 is, you best believe in that
Yeah.
man that he is going to be a
Oh, I
superstar.
agree. It's something we don't see often, but yeah, I think teams are over the moon about this kid, so I could see it happening for sure.
Yeah, we shall see. My number 8, I think that New Orleans, since they probably weren't unpleased with what they saw out of Tyler Shuck, I think they're going to try to give Chris Olave a running mate on the opposite side to try to free up the offense a little bit more. And I've got them going wide receiver here. And I think this is where Jordan Tyson is going to land. I think he ends up in New Orleans, wide receiver out of
Mm.
Arizona State.
Yeah, another guy I've seen mocked as one of the first few wide receivers going, and I like him a lot, but yeah, another one I don't love this early. Like there's some other guys I like better, but yeah, a lot of people have him being one of the first to go. So no complaints there. And yeah, I mean Saints do need a wide receiver, so totally makes sense there.
Yeah. On to 9. Chiefs in the
On
top
to
10.
9. Ugh. Hate that. And boy, do I have them having a steal because remember, I don't have an offensive lineman going yet. And here goes our first one. And this is where I have Francis Magayo, or however the hell you say it, tackle out of Miami. But yeah, I mean, if this happens, the value they're getting here at 10 is pretty spectacular. And, they're definitely not going to pass it up if he's there. It's also a position they could use some help with. Their position of needs come up edge, wide receiver, and D tackle. But yeah, I mean, I certainly think they could use some help on the O line. And with this value here, I mean, it's just got to happen.
Yeah, that's fair. I've already had 2 tackles go, so I do have them going a bit of a different direction here. A guy that you've already named a few picks earlier, but I've got Kansas City going with Mansour Delane, the cornerback out of LSU. They lost both Trent McDuffie and his running mate, ironically, both to the Rams,
Yeah.
one via
Yep.
free agency, one via trade, so they've gotta make some replacements there, and I think understanding that Patty Mahomes is going to be out for most, if not all of the year, I'm not sure this early in the draft that they'll prioritize the offensive side of the ball, especially given the capital that they've put it into that recently. So I've got them going defense here, Mansour Delane.
Yeah, makes a lot of sense. I mean, you said it, they lost a lot of guys into the secondary this past offseason, so good move there. Um, at number 10 was the Bengals pick. This is where Sexy Dexy went to Cincy. Giants got this pick now, and I have them addressing the O line with Spencer Fano, a tackle out of Utah.
Okay. Okay. Fair. Fair. Wow, Spencer Fun. Yeah, you got him way earlier than I do. I was like looking at I've got Caleb Lomu, you tackle out of Utah, and I was like, did I get the name wrong? But all right, that's interesting. Fair enough. But yeah, so we got the Giants here at 10. And I think if the Giants make the 2 selections that I name here in my mock draft, Giants fans will be very happy. I had them taking Francis Maigoa out of Miami, the tackle at 5. And at number 10, I've got them taking who I think might be the best overall player in this draft in Caleb Downs, safety out of Ohio State. I mean, the kid is
Yeah.
just an absolute animal. I hate saying it because he's an Ohio State guy, but he's just so damn good at the game of football. It's ridiculous. So I've got them addressing a little bit of their secondary here, taking Caleb Downs.
Yeah, a phenomenal player. I agree. I mean, if you're going just pure off the talent of the draft, I mean, he's pretty much top 3. You can't really argue any different. And yeah, it's just boils down to the position he plays, which is why I think he's going to fall a bit too. But yeah, if the Giants do this, I am not a happy camper. They've already made a lot of good moves this offseason. I think they're definitely headed in the right direction. So they get away with 2 picks like that. I am not going to be pleased.
That's fair. On to Miami at 11.
This is where I have my favorite wide receiver of the draft going, Lemon out of USC. They certainly need a wide receiver. Traded Waddle. I mean, there's nobody in that wide receiver room uh, who comes even close to a wide receiver one. So I think they'll scoop him up here. The interesting thing is, um, that, he's more of a slot guy, so their wide receiver 1 would basically be a slot guy, which, I mean, we see that throughout the league. I mean, even Amon-Ra, certainly plays outside, but a lot of his time is spent in the slot, and it can be done, and, I think this is the move they make here.
All right, wide receiver is definitely a need for them, but given how things are going right now, I don't know if I trust them to make any good decisions at all. To be honest with you, they made one in getting rid of Tua. I'll give them that.
Yeah.
It was about time, but I'm really not sure what's going down in Miami here. But defense is another really big need for them. And that's where I've got them going. I've got them taking my personal favorite edge in this draft in Ruben Bain, coming from University of Miami, going to play for the Dolphins. Really, really far move for him. So I think he could fit in seamlessly there, culture and everything, having been in Miami. So yeah, I've got them going Ruben Bain.
Yeah, a great value pick. I agree. He's probably my favorite edge too. Maybe slightly give it to Reese, but yeah, I mean, to get a guy at that caliber at 11, I mean, they got to be pleased with that.
Yeah, that's fair. On to your favorite team, the Dallas Cowboys at 12.
Yeah, yeah. And to make matters worse, I have Caleb Downs going here. Um, yeah, it sucks. It does, but I mean, it's getting to the point. The kid's so damn talented that I mean, any team should want him. Or you just like, even if the need's not really there, you got to take them. And I mean, the Cowboys could certainly use it. I think they almost definitely go defense. I mean, they could use some help on the O line, but I mean, there's really most of their needs are on defense, and specifically the secondary needs some work too. So I think this move just makes a lot of sense. And as unfortunate as it is, I have them getting arguably the biggest difference maker in the draft here at 12.
All right. All right. We're thinking along the same mind here. On my board, Caleb Downs is already gone, but I do have Dallas going to the same position here, and I've got them taking Dylan Thieneman, safety out of Oregon, here at number 12. I think secondary overall, both safety and cornerbacks are their biggest needs. They could certainly use an edge replacement for Micah Parsons as well. That's up there in the top three needs, but their
Yeah.
secondary just crumbled. So I've got them using their number 12 pick here on Dylan Thieneman. Though I wouldn't be surprised if they're hearing rumblings that Caleb Downs might go a little earlier if Dallas is a team that tries to trade up and move up a few picks to be able to take Caleb Downs, because I think Thieneman is a great player, but I think the gap between him and Downs is pretty damn big.
Yeah.
So, and Jerry, not a guy who likes to settle. So he might even overpay a little bit to move up those couple spots, and some team might just
Yeah.
have to say yes.
Yeah, I feel like Dallas is very likely to move up in this draft. I mean, they have the capital to do it with trading Parsons, and Jerry can't resist that damn spotlight. Definitely wants to make a splash on draft night. I think they'll move up and get one of those edge rushers we discussed though, before they move up to get Downs. Um, but yeah, to your point, I think there is a major drop off in talent there. He's Downs is phenomenal first safety in this draft, but yeah, I think the drop is too big. I don't know that they go safety if Downs is gone. But yeah, I could see them moving up to get an edge for sure. Um, they it's Jerry. He needs to make a splash on draft night. And if the splash doesn't fall in his lap like it does in my draft, he will move up to do it.
Well, that's another reason I've got them still sticking with safety. Jerry just likes to be able to say that he saw something that didn't exist. So I could see him just sticking to his guns here, man, and
Yeah,
taking the enemy anyways. But I agree, those edge rushers are in play. But that's a lot of capital to move up to take any one of those guys, probably, except for maybe Ruben Bain, if Ruben Bain does indeed last that long, which looks
yeah,
more and more likely, especially with the recent off the field things that came out about Bane. He could fall a pick or two,
right,
which might benefit the Cowboys there. So I could totally see that. But at some point, like if it is Miami, like I think even to move one pick, Miami's going to need a decent offer here, because at some point they do need to like start building something. They are
yep,
ground zero. They need some kind of base to go from. So they're a team
yeah,
that's almost too far gone to where bringing in a bunch of draft picks almost doesn't make sense. So
yeah.
not
Because
I'm curious.
there's not even like a launch pad, right? Like they need to
Exactly.
get
Yeah.
something to an initial building block. Like they literally have nothing. So I see your point there. Um, but yeah, in future drafts, they could certainly trade back and ramp up the capital. But yeah, it's expensive moving up in the first round. Like to your point, like I have Bane, the last of the elite edges, going at 6. Like for the Cowboys to make that jump, that is expensive. Like that is probably a first round pick and some to make that move. But yeah, we'll see. You never know in Jerry world.
You do never know in Jerry World. I think the thing that I would be surprised, I think, if Bane ended up actually going that early. I just don't know if I
Yeah,
see
with
it
the
because he's
off the
got I can't
field
remember
stuff, it's likely he falls. We know what that does to a player. It happens all the time. I mean, that's how the Eagles got Jalen Carter. Like it happens. I mean, top talents in the draft without question fall all the time due to a little off-season trouble. Um, so yeah, we'll see.
yeah. Alrighty. On to the Rams at 13. Frickin'
Rammies.
Falcons.
Yeah,
Gosh.
freaking idiots. Although they did it to address edge rush, which they were historically bad in for like a decade. So I'll give them some grace. But yeah, this was not the move. I mean, I'm not in the business of getting rid of your picks unless you're in freaking contention. Should you be giving away first round picks like candy? And they certainly weren't last year. And I mean, everyone kind of knew that going in. Like, really weird move. Which Palm City Chucks gave him hell for.
Yep.
But yeah, with the Rams getting this beautiful pick at 13, despite being as elite as they are, um, I have them going wide receiver here. There's a lot of rumors of Adams moving on, them trying to trade him, just get younger, get a younger pair with Puka, and I think they may do it here. Um, on my mock too, we only have two wide receivers gone so far, and I think they get Jordan Tyson out of Arizona State here.
Okay. Okay. I also saw the same thing, so I also had them going wide receiver. But before I say that, I will caveat. I've only had two wide receivers off the board as well, and Tate and Tyson. So have Lemon and a couple other guys on the board here. I think this is one of the more likely picks that could get traded out of to move down a little bit here if there is somebody that a team likes. I think the Rams, given their position, would be very willing to not maybe move out of the first round, but move down a little bit more to take one of there's a couple wide receiver options that I think are in very similar vicinities at this point. So I think they're a team that would be very okay moving back a little bit. And 13 is still top half of the first round. So I think they would also see it as maybe building back some up of what they lost to go and get Trent McDuffie too. But with that said, no trades in our mock draft. So straight up, if the Rams do pick here, I've got them going Omar Cooper Jr. here, wide receiver out of Indiana. So Mekhi
Yeah.
Lemon's still on my board. I just will throw that out there. He's not getting picked here at 13 either.
Yeah, I think Cooper's phenomenal though. I like that move. I think he's undervalued. I think I have him going as like the fifth or sixth guy, but yeah, he's better than that in my eyes. I really think he's special. Um, so good shouts there. Made a lot of plays for Mendoza. Not to take credit away from him, but a lot of nice plays.
Yeah. Saving them against Penn State is what he did. Rat.
Yeah, right. What a
Yeah.
wild game. You never know what you're getting in
Yeah.
football. That's why it's the best, man.
Yep. Yep. Offhanded comment here, but Penn State gave the champions of both college football and college basketball their toughest games of the year. So, do you want to give Penn State some flowers for that? And I'm gonna give that. We need some
Yeah.
bright spots.
At least you're a
Um,
pain in the ass. That's
exactly. Moving on. Baltimore at 14. What do you got?
I have the first true interior offensive lineman going here out of Penn State. Um, I don't even want to try the name. You're a Penn Stater. What the hell's this guy's name?
I don't think I even gonna get it right. Oliva Vega Ione is I think
Okay.
kind of close. He goes by Vega
Yeah,
though. Vega
that
Ione.
guy.
So yes. Yep. I thought that might be a good segue since he was still on your board. I thought that Penn State shout might make a little bit of sense here.
Yeah. Very nice.
Uh, but yeah, I actually have the exact same pick here for the Ravens. It just makes too much sense. They need a lot of help on the interior offensive line. This guy is fantastic. I actually think that he is the best lineman in this draft. It's just the fact that he is a true guard and not a tackle. And we
Yeah,
know that tackles are valued just so much more than
certainly.
guards are, especially when it comes to draft time. But I mean, he has not allowed a sack since 2023. He's only allowed 20, it's either 21 or 24 total quarterback pressures since 2023 as well. So I mean, he is just an absolute excellent lineman. Like I said, I think he is the best one in this draft. It just so happens he plays guard instead of tackle, so he falls closer to the middle of the rounds here. All right, we got the Bucks at 15.
Bucks at 15. I have one of the guys I'm most excited to see in the NFL, tight end Kenyon Sadiq out of Oregon going here. Um, yeah, I think it's a position in need. I mean, they did bring back Otten, but I think they could use some help. And with the departure of Mike Evans, I think another weapon in the mix for Baker is not a bad idea. And yeah, I think it's getting to the point where this guy's got to get taken, or in mocks where you could trade up. I mean, he's probably already gone. I mean, this
Yeah.
guy's going to be sought after. He's very freaky. He's got freak size for how well he moves, and yeah, I think he's going to be a lot of fun in the NFL. But yeah, here without doing any trades, I think this is a fine landing spot for him.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. I definitely debated him here. I'll be honest, as you mentioned earlier, I think you might even go earlier. I actually heavily if the cornerback didn't make just so much sense for the Chiefs given their cornerback situation, I really thought about Sadiq to the Chiefs. I mean,
Yeah,
with Travis
it's
Kelce
not bad
aging, I
either.
mean,
I
it would
could
be a
see him
great
going around
yeah,
that area. I mean,
yeah.
teams love this guy, and it's not unheard of anymore. I mean,
Yep.
we had what, Pitts go at 7? Granted, that didn't really work
Pitts
out,
went at
but
4.
or
He went at
4, yeah.
4
Jeez,
right before Jamar Chase at 5, by the way. So,
disgusting.
yeah, I know. I was looking like I said, I was looking through some old drafts
How
in
different
preparation for this, and
the league could be.
well, I know. I mean, imagine if Justin Jefferson went to the Eagles instead of Jalen Reagor. So there's that.
Hey, it's Rager. Put some respect on his name.
You're right. You're right. That's the whole point of the story. I got his name wrong there. So,
Yeah,
uh,
what a trash thing to say, AJ. How dare you bring that up?
I had to. You gave me the opportunity. It just needed to
I did
happen.
not. You know how many draft
Yeah.
day botch jobs there are? A billion. And you attack the Eagles, which in
But
recent
believe
years
me,
have put together the best drafts in the NFL. Like, come on now.
I know. But believe me, I was there during the Matt Patricia taking Jeff Okuda at number 3 days. I have been there, brother.
Yeah,
So
yeah. But you know that
I have
cuts
lived
extra
it.
deep. I knew we needed a
Yeah.
receiver. I'm an LSU fan. Like, that shit hurt. I was literally like
Yeah.
crying with joy when we were on the clock with him available. And then we fucking get Rager. It's unreal. At a TCU.
TCU wide receivers, man, just never work out. Never
No.
work out. Oh man. But all right, so 15. This is a pick that I could totally see getting traded here. I think the Bucks don't necessarily have a glaring need per se, where if they get a good offer, I could totally see them moving down here and just acquiring some extra capital. But they lost Levante David. I have not yet had Sonny Styles, the true linebacker, come off the board yet. 15 is where the first linebacker went off the board last year, and I have the same thing happening this year. This is where I've got Sonny Styles landing in my draft. As we discussed earlier, I wouldn't be surprised if teams break the mold and do take this guy a little bit earlier, especially if they've got like a Travis Hunter dream in their mind where he plays safety, linebacker, all 3 linebacker positions, both safety, who
Yeah.
knows what they've got in their mind. So might be a little bit flexible here, but following NFL draft traditions here, I've got the first linebacker off the board at 15, Sonny Styles, linebacker out of OSU. And they need to replace Levante David. This guy would slot in really well there.
Yeah. Yeah. It sounds a lot tougher than it actually would be replacing a guy like David if they manage to get Styles here. But yeah, I don't know. Teams are absolutely batshit about this guy. I just feel like he's gonna go earlier, but it would be a phenomenal fit for him to fall to Tampa Bay there. Um, Actually a bit scary. Don't love it. Please don't. We finally got rid of David. He's been a pain in the ass forever.
Yeah. Then, like I said, he totally could go earlier. You had him going at like 4, I think, is where you had him, possibly, if I'm remembering correctly. Really early. That's all I know. But
Yeah, I
I
had him
just
at
don't know how
8 for
teams are
the
going to
same.
evaluate this guy. Yeah, top 10. Anyways, I'm
Yeah.
just not sure how teams are going to evaluate this guy. What do they see him as? He had to switch to linebacker because safety wasn't really going that well. He's definitely way too small to be an edge, like a true
Mhm.
edge. So I think he's a true linebacker. And like I said, as we've seen, wasting top half draft picks on a linebacker here normally doesn't work out too well for you.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
Which is so funny to me because, like, running backs are often that way too. Like, and occasionally, like in this year, likely we will, but you'll have one go really early. But all in all, they're not flying off the board. But running back and linebacker can be so influential on the field and can really, like, take a good team and make them great or make a bad team good. Um, it's just always funny to me how they're valued in the draft because they're incredibly important in the actual game when you break it down. Um, but yeah, we shall see. But yeah, definitely a great spot for him to fall there. Uh, Tampa would love that.
Yeah,
um,
and another
but
reason before we move on, another reason I kind of let him fall to 15 here is if you go 2 3 years ago, I can't remember Jack Campbell to the Lions. I mean, I think he was far and above the best linebacker in the draft, and I'm not even like really excellent in college, and he didn't go until the beginning of the second round, I believe. So maybe very back end of the first round. So I don't know. I don't know. We'll see.
yeah, it's really weird. But yeah, let's move on to number 16. We have the New York Jets yet again. And here I have them taking a wide receiver in Denzel Boston out of Washington. But yeah, again, kind of what I was flirting with about Cooper earlier, but like I like Cooper better than this kid. But I see teams taking guys like Boston ahead of him. And yeah, I have him going here to the Jets. I think receivers a move they probably make given having two first round picks. I mean, if they actually use both picks, they're gonna feel a need to have some talent in that room. Because yeah, I mean it's a one man show right now.
Yeah. And that one man show wasn't even that impressive last year. If you
Correct.
if you ask me, I wasn't really blown away by what Garrett Wilson provided and Brees Hall, as well. So I don't even know which one you were mentioning there. Did Garrett Wilson even work in your one man show, or was it the Brees Hall show?
I was
I'm
referring
actually not sure.
specifically to the wide receiver room where it's a one
Okay,
man show. But yes, yeah, he wasn't impressive. You're right. But yeah, the tools are there. I think the Jets are just a team that needs so much. It's like they're like not even really a true team going out every week. It's just even their stars can't perform because there's nothing. Again, like you need the launch pad, you need something, and yeah, they don't have much going for them.
but don't forget, Aaron Glenn says Geno Smith is going to take them to the promised land. Don't
That's right.
forget. All
And I
right.
am excited for that. I mean, second stint for Gino. Gino's a guy I root for. I loved his bounce back in Seattle. Last year was a little heartbreaking seeing him, fall back into not even really mediocrity, just ass.
It was
Yeah,
bad.
we'll see what he does with the Jets. It's not looking great, but I mean, I believe in Aaron Glenn, so
I don't believe in Aaron Glenn. Come
yeah.
on. But
No, who can say
anyways,
with a
my
straight
Jets,
face?
my Jets pick at number 16. I also have them going wide receiver here. Denzel Boston is still on my board, but he is not the receiver that I went with. I've got a guy who you had going earlier here. This is where I've got Mekhi Lemon ending up. So,
No.
yep, I've got Mekhi Lemon ending up on the Jets here at 16.
No, his career won't even start.
Hey, I mean, if things work out with Gino, that's not bad. I mean, Lemon in the slot, Wilson
I mean,
outside, Brees Hall in the backfield, Gino
he's in
quarterback. Like,
purgatory, man. Don't send him to New York.
someone's got to go. Someone's got to go.
Yeah, there's a receiver, and they're going there. Somebody's got to do it. Let's throw frickin' KC Conception there. It's got a weird
Casey
name. Just,
Conception.
just throw him there.
Casey Concepcion, baby. Conception.
Concepcion.
Uh, these names are hard to pronounce, though, I will say. It's honestly so
Oh, they're
terrible.
terrible, dude.
I'm trying to say them pretty confidently so people don't question whether or not I'm saying them right, but there are so many where I'm just like, I've got no clue
Oh,
how
no
this is
clue.
pronounced, man. My goodness. But all right. Let's move on to the Detroit Lions pick at number 17 here. Maybe the one bright spot of last season as they get a decent pick.
Yeah, right? And I imagine you're probably going to think the same way I am here. I think we both only have a handful of linemen going. It's a position they need, so I think they address it here. Um, it's just a matter of who, and I think there's a bunch towards the end of the round that I like. I like Proctor. I like Blake Miller. Uh, I like Lomu out of Utah, who you already had go. Um, but here I have Monroe Freeling out of Georgia going to the Lions, projected as a tackle. But most of these O linemen where we're at now in the draft, I see a lot of them that can go inside if needed, which I think the Lions will just take any good offensive lineman here, and it will help them out a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, so at 17 for me, I've also got Monroe Freeling going here, tackle out of Georgia. He's one of the few tackles on the board here that played left tackle in college, played left tackle for Georgia. And I think one of the big reasons they go Freeling here is he didn't have a ton of time at left tackle, but showed a lot of good potential. So I think he's one of the tackles that may, with a little bit more development, be able to stick on the left side. And I made this pick with maybe a little bit of bias in mind, but I think that it's honestly quite reasonable because, as I've said before, they better not fucking move Penne to the left side. Seriously.
Yeah,
I can see the writing on the wall, and I just really don't want it to happen. So go
yeah.
into this draft with a plan to pick a lineman with this number 17 pick, unless somebody else who's amazing falls to you, okay? Like that's fine. Whatever. Um, go into it with a plan to pick somebody who you think might be able to stick at left tackle and try it. If it doesn't work out and Penny's got a midseason kick out to the left, I'm going to hate it, but at least we tried. It didn't just draft a true right tackle and just accept Penny moving to the left before even giving it a go with somebody who could possibly play on the left here. So I'm also hoping. One other thing I want to say here is with Caleb Downs being probably a 10 to 15, somewhere in there type of guy, and knowing Brad Holmes' tendencies, and both Brian Branch and Kirby Joseph being hurt, especially Kirby Joseph, like his career might quite literally be in jeopardy, which is very unfortunate given the ball hawk that he's become. It would not surprise me one bit to see Brad Holmes trade up to try to go and get Caleb Downs. So I just want to throw that out there. That would not surprise me one bit. Brad Holmes is not a guy that likes to trade down. Sometimes I really don't love that. He likes to trade up. We've seen it with JMO. We've seen it with Brian Branch. Seen it with a bunch of guys. So that would not surprise me if Caleb Downs does indeed get into that 10 range. So we'll see.
All right. Yeah, I mean that one's so because I think Downs is really going to be nice. But yeah, what are you giving up to do that? Like we're talking a 7-piece jump here. Um, so that's really all what it's all about. I mean, that could be a phenomenal move for the Lions, or it could be kind of a wash, or it could be terrible. It
We'll see.
all
I mean, to move
depends
up.
on what they value that jump at.
So we'll just say they need to go to 10. We'll map this out here. They're at 17. Giants. Okay, so they need to go 17 to 10. They'll obviously give the Giants the number 17 pick. That's obviously leaving.
Right.
And then they definitely not another first rounder included. No shot.
Yeah. I don't
I think the debate between Holmes and the Giants then becomes a third or a second. In which year? My guess would be a second rounder next year is what they end up settling upon. I
Yeah.
would love for it to be a third, but I
Oh
don't
yeah.
know.
If it's a
Like if I
third
don't,
and you're getting a guy like Downs, I mean, I think you could almost say it's a great move immediately without even seeing the kid play in the Honolulu.
yeah. So I don't think it's unreasonable. It just depends on how staunchy the Giants want to be, and maybe having the pick number 5, they'll be a little more willing to move things around. I don't don't know. Probably not, but a guy can hope. But my guess would be because the Lions already don't have a third round pick this year, I believe it is. So I don't think that they're going to want to give up their first and second this year and only have one pick in rounds 1 through 3. So I'm guessing a
Yeah,
first
no.
this year, second next year, and hoping for a better year. So it's a back end second round as well. Um, that's what I think.
Yeah, that's not
Anyways,
not a bad move if they can get it for the cheap like that. Yeah, let's move on to number 18. We have one of your rivals, the Vikings. I think they definitely go safety here. I still have Thieneman available. I still have McNeil Warren out of Toledo available. I think they probably go with Thieneman out of Oregon, just based on who he played versus the guy from Toledo who he was playing. Um, but that being said, don't underestimate that Toledo secondary.
Quinyon
Shout out
Mitchell.
you,
I know.
baby. Quinianamo. But yeah, I'm gonna go Dylan here. Dylan Thieneman out of Oregon. They need to get a safety. I mean, Harrison Smith is a million years old. Um, and I don't think the Vikings are a team that has a lot of needs either. And that just is one of the glaring ones. But yeah, I don't think they're too far away. They just had god awful quarterback play. They brought in Kyler. Maybe that fixes it. I think they can use this pick on a safety and be happy with that.
Yeah. That's fair. So my draft, I've already got Thieneman off the board alongside Downs here. So it would be McNeil Warren if they did go safety. But I don't have them going safety, but I do have them dipping into the secondary pool because I think overall their secondary just needs a bit of an overhaul. So I've got them going corner here at 18, and I've got them taking my personal favorite corner in this year's draft. I already had Mansour Delane going earlier, but my personal number one is Dermod McCoy out of Tennessee. So I think that's who I've got them taken here at 18.
Very nice. Yeah, I think McCoy's gonna be nice. And I mean, we both kind of have it. I mean, you certainly have him going earlier than I do, but yeah, I mean the secondary's falling in this draft. I mean, to have only one corner go to this point, I wouldn't say it's odd, but it's a little weird because I think there's a lot of talent in this secondary in this draft. But yeah, I mean, people are always going to overvalue certain positions. One being wide receiver, kind of like you mentioned. I don't think there is. I think it's a decent class, but I don't think it's crazy.
Standout
But
guy. I don't think
we
there's a
still have a
standout
lot
guy.
going. A lot are going already, and that will happen. I mean, it's just a position that's overvalued. Corner, not so much. So I think that's why we're seeing them fall. But moving on to number 19, the Carolina Panthers. I have them taking McNeil Warren out of Toledo. I think they could use a safety too. Um, I wouldn't be shocked if a wide receiver is taken here, but a lot have also left the board already. But yeah, I think safety will work for him too.
Yeah, that's fair. So my number 19 here, a guy's name who I haven't said yet, and as I was making this, I was kind of surprised that I didn't really find a spot for him to this point. But given how it played out, there just wasn't really a move for him unless somebody does trade up. We mentioned him earlier. I've got the Panthers taking Kenyon Sadiq, and it's not necessarily a true position of need for them, but it just became a point where like, all right, I got to take this guy. Like I got the Panthers don't have an above and beyond like really great tight end.
No,
So
yeah, I
it's
think
not
it's a great spot.
unreasonable for them to take a tight end here and maybe take some pressure off of Tet, and who knows, maybe Leggett has a third year, what's the word that I'm looking for? Third year bump that we
Turn
see a lot of
around.
times out of receivers. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So that's a possibility. They brought back Jalen Coker. Not a lot of big names there on that offense, and the direction the Panthers are heading, I think they've got to be able to generate more points consistently. So if Sadiq is indeed still here at 19, like I said, I don't necessarily fully believe that. I think another team might trade up for him. Who knows? Kansas City's got 2 picks in this first round, so they don't take him at 9. It wouldn't surprise me if they're willing to sacrifice a little bit of draft capital here to try to move up and draft the Travis Kelce replacement. So that's a scenario that wouldn't surprise me at all. But in this case, Sadiq's still here at 19. I think the Panthers jump all over that.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, if he's available at 19, you're so right. It would not be surprising at all if the Chiefs try and make a move for that.
Well, I
Uh,
think the Chiefs might even be willing to move up higher than 19 if he's falling into like the mid-teens.
yeah.
Honestly, like I could see that.
Yeah, without a doubt. I think he'll be a really special player. I'll cry if it happens, but yeah, it would make a lot of sense for them to do that. They're not far away, as we know. You never really are with a guy like Patty. Um, but yeah, he's just got to get healthy, and I'm sure there'll be a pain in the ass again, like always. Moving on, 20th pick, we have the Cowboys again. I have them taking or addressing edge here. Akeem Mesidor out of Miami. Um, Second edge out of Miami. But yeah, I think another really good player, just a little overshadowed by Ruben Bain. But yeah, I think will be a solid pro. And I mean, I think the Cowboys, my mock for them is like way too friendly. I really hope I'm wrong. I do not want to be right about my cowboy picks.
Downs and Mesidor. That would be quite the defensive combo that they're bringing in with these first
Yeah.
round picks, man. Not bad. Ironically, at number 20, I've got them doing the exact same thing. I've got them taking Akeem Mesidor here, edge
Okay.
out of Miami. So
Yeah.
no difference there.
And with our mocks just obviously differing a bit, another guy I could see going there is McCoy out of Tennessee for cornerback. Another
Yeah.
position they could address, but I think he's going to really feel a need to address edge with the absence of Parsons and how that was felt last year. So yeah, that's why I landed on Mesidor. But yeah, corner would not surprise me either.
Yeah. That's fair.
Um, Pittsburgh time. Pittsburgh at 21. Again, people, I'm doing what I think they'll do, not what I would do. But I have them taking Ty Simpson out of Alabama here, quarterback.
Holy
I do not think this draft is worthy of 2 first-round quarterbacks at all, but I feel like there's going to be a pressure to bring somebody in um, to win the job and have the job. We still don't really know what's going on there. I mean, they have Will Howard from the draft last year, and I still imagine Rodgers is going to end up here, but we don't know yet for sure. Um, so yeah, I think they might get panicky again. It's whole new vibes over there. Um, who knows? But yeah, I think a lot of times when a new coach is brought in a quarterback needed team, they like to pick a guy. So I wouldn't be shocked if it happens here, but yeah, I definitely don't think it's a smart move by any means.
That would be crazy, and I will say the reason that I don't think that happens is I think their fan base is still pissed off about Kenny Pickett. So, I
It
don't
should
think that
be.
they're gonna make yeah, as they should be. That I mean, everybody knew that was stupid when it happened, and it just proved
Yeah.
out to be very, very stupid. I mean, the guy
Yeah.
couldn't even beat out Tanner McKee for Philadelphia number 2. So, anyways, that's not necessarily a knock on McKee, it's more to say, like, Kenny Pickett is a third-string quarterback in this league, it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
You took him in the first round. But anyways, that's why I don't think that they'll do that. I also my gut's telling me that Aaron Rodgers will come back for one more year, play with Mike McCarthy again, and then I think they'll try to target a quarterback next year. And I mean, because they did take Will Howard in the 6th round, I believe it was last year, so they've got a
Yeah.
backup situation there if needed. So I don't necessarily think they'll fully panic and go Ty Simpson, but I can definitely see your line of thinking here.
Yeah.
I can
Well,
see where you're coming from.
and again, I can't bring it home enough. I think it's stupid. They shouldn't do it. But
Yeah.
yeah, I'm trying to paint a picture on how I think they're thinking. Um, but yeah, again, it always comes back to the fall off, right? Like what is the drop off from QB2 in this draft, which I do think it is Simpson. But I don't think the drop off from 2 to 3 is very big. I don't think the drop off from 2 to 7 is very big. In fact, there's a number of quarterbacks in this draft I think you get on day 3 that like could actually pan out and be something, like be
Drew Aller.
hot starter, or yeah, Drew Aller, Klubnik, Nussmeier. Like there's a bunch that like I think deserve a day 3 chance and see what they can do. But if I'm the Steelers, like even if Rodgers doesn't come back, like let Will Howard compete with one of the 4 guys we just mentioned that you can get on day 3, and whoever comes out on top comes out on top.
See, and that's another reason I think maybe the Steelers don't do this. I think they will use a day 2 or a day 3 pick to maybe bring in that kind of competition. Just given how weak the quarterback class is. I don't like this because they don't really have a lot around it, but I could totally see Drew Aller ending up a Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania guy. So, I could totally
I
see
think it'd
that.
be
And
a
then
great
I've
pick for
said
them.
I have said it so many times, but Drew Aller is going to be so much better than people think. Penn State put him in positions to fail constantly on the offensive side of the ball, and it is sad. It is sad to see. Well, it was sad to see. He's going into the NFL now, and I wish him all the best. And I agree with you. I really think there are a couple guys there that could pan out. I mean, look at Nussmeier, the story coming out about the NFL found a cyst on his spinal cord that probably affected him this entire past year because it was
Yeah,
pressing on a nerve that caused the oblique pain. Klubnik is a very interesting one. I'm really not sure what happened to him because he just it's not even his team put up bad results. He was also just horrible. So he
yeah,
he is he's a really interesting one, but I agree he probably should still get like a day 3 shot in there. But Nussmeier and Aller are kind of like my wild cards for me, where it's like I think you're probably a little bit better than people think that you are right now, given all other
yeah.
details considered. So it wouldn't surprise me to see those guys do something. But anyways, if the Steelers do anything other than take a wide receiver with this pick here, it's just absurd. It is ludicrous. You have DK Metcalf, and then your wide receiver 2 is goddamn Calvin Austin. And I appreciate what Calvin Austin can do for a team. He's a little speedster, gadget guy, but he is not a
Yeah,
wide receiver
he's a
2.
fine
He's
number
simply
3,
not.
not a number
Yeah.
2.
No. So I've still got Denzel Boston on my board, and this is where I have Denzel Boston going, wide receiver out of Washington. I've got them. I'm assuming Aaron Rodgers is going to come back. I really do think he is going to come back for one more year for the chance to play with McCarthy again. And I've got them giving DK Metcalf a guy on the other side here. Give Aaron Rodgers another target to throw to.
Very nice. Yeah, definitely a smarter pick. Let's move on to pick 22. This is the LA Chargers. And much like you said with Pittsburgh, having to draft wide receiver, I think the Chargers absolutely have to go a line here. Like, I don't even care what's left. I mean, they just need O line. They need the depth. They need everything. I mean, the O-line group shouldn't have been terrible on paper last year, but you see what one injury can do to a team, and of course it ended up trickling into numerous injuries, but I think they just absolutely need to go O-line. I think their defense is serviceable, and their wide receiver is fine as well, but I have them falling on Blake Miller, tackle out of Clemson.
Okay. Okay. Not bad. Not bad. As we get farther down my list here, I did do this tired when I was tired the other day. I really am wondering if I switched Caleb Lomu and Spencer Fanu, but it's what I've got written down. So I'm gonna run with that here. So we're gonna stick with that. But if they get switched later, I want to reserve the right to say that maybe I got them switched in my head, both playing for Utah here. But anyways, that's besides the point. Because I agree with you. I think they should go line. I don't think they will go line. I think they're going to start thinking about a 35-year-old Khalil Mack and looking at an edge replacement here. I actually have them going Keldrick Falk, edge out of Auburn here, and I think that's
Okay.
something that they try to address.
Yeah, not a bad player there. Um, Yeah, and I could see it. I mean, they certainly have other needs. I just think O-line is like, I mean, how could you they had a lot of promise last year and a lot of potential, and it just seemed to all go away because of their problems up front. with the O line. Let's move on to the Birds. Birds at 23. Shouldn't be too happy about that. They should be picking 32nd every year. Um, but here they are at 23. I have them addressing O line. Now, it's news has come out since this with AJ Brown likely being traded to the Patriots post June. Um, so maybe they go wide receiver here. Cooper is still available. I would love if they did that. Like I said, I really like Cooper out of Indiana, but yeah, did this before. I mean, there was always speculation about AJ, but who the fuck knows what's going to happen? So I have them drafting perhaps a Lane Johnson, future replacement, offensive tackle, Caden Proctor out of Alabama. Um, which I would be fine with even if AJ moves. I mean, you seriously have to start considering Lane Johnson's replacement. It's gonna happen. Like, he's amazing. He's still in amazing shape, but the injuries are ramping up for him. And I mean, he's given it his all for years and years and years. And the other thing is, it's much like we've said now for the past few drafts, like the Rams drafting a backup quarterback. We want it so bad because you have a guy like Stafford to teach him, and that's kind of how I feel with this spot at O tackle for the Eagles. Like, I want Lane Johnson to have a year or two to work with this guy before he takes over his spot, and I would not mind Proctor here. But yeah, we'll see. They could certainly go wide receiver here with AJ likely being gone.
That's fair. Um, I think you'll love who I have the Eagles getting here. I will say Caden Proctor would be a very
Is it a
Eagles pick
kicker?
since it is not a kicker. I wouldn't do
Okay.
that to you. I'm semi-reasonable. We're not Ray Guying this and punter in the first round, okay? That's not how this works. Um, But Caden Proctor would make a lot of sense for the Eagles here just based on their past draft history as well. Take a guy that probably would have gone a lot earlier, but he falls due to other issues. In Caden Proctor's case, it's, work ethic and how much he actually cares about football being the questions here. So it would
Right.
make a lot of sense for the Eagles to take that guy. However, the reason I say I think you'll like this pick, and this is why I mentioned the Fano and Lomu stuff, and you had this guy going at like 4. I've got the Eagles getting Spencer Fano here at 23, tackle out of Utah.
Yeah,
So,
that would be awesome.
yeah, at the
Yeah.
same time, I don't know. I'm rereading my notes. I'm trying to figure out if I meant to do this or not. I couldn't tell you. Did this a couple days ago, but I think Fano's another guy that could fall because he's got really short arms. So might have to kick inside to guard in the NFL. And as we were talking about with Ione earlier, guards just aren't valued as much as tackles. So maybe I did do that on purpose. Who knows? I'm gonna claim
Tough to
right
say. And the
either
other thing
way.
is with
Yeah,
with O linemen in particular, like, they're really tough to guess which order they go in. Like, a lot
they
of years
really
there's
are.
like a top three, you got a rough idea or whatever. But this year in particular, like, who the fuck knows? Like, teams just end up liking a guy and they go with him and they don't give a shit where he's supposed to go because they're in love and they make the move. But
I think
yeah, I
Goa
mean, I'd
goes
love
first
him there.
out of tackles. I think Goa will go first out of tackles, and I think Ione will go first out of interior offensive linemen.
Right, and we
After
both
that,
have
I
that.
couldn't tell you. I couldn't tell
Yeah.
you
Yeah, beyond
after
that,
that, to
who
be
knows?
honest. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, I like it. I mean, I'll happily take an O lineman in the first round of this year. Um, absolutely. Position of need, and I think they're not really flying off the board, and I think it's a decent class. I don't think it's anything crazy, but yeah, I will take it at 23 for sure.
All right. Cleveland with their second pick of this first round here at number 24.
This is where I have my man, Casey Concepcion. Wide receiver out of A&M. Yeah, Cleveland's it's going to be tough for them to resist some splash with the 2 first round picks. I think they'll get a receiver here and I don't see a problem with it. I mean, I think it is a position they need help with, but I don't think it's as bad as people are making it out to be. I mean, they have some talent in that room. I don't think it's an absolute day one must, but hey, you got that extra pick. Why the fuck not?
Yeah, that's so fair. I think wide receiver was probably in consideration for them at number 6. Like we've said, we've seen a lot of people having Carnell Tate go there at number 6. Just wasn't a match for me. But rounding out at number 24, I do have them also taking a wide receiver. In fact, I have them taking the same wide receiver that you do in Casey Concepcion.
Very
So
nice.
I've got them making that same pick there.
Sweet. Moving on to the Bears at 25. This is where I have them taking tackle out of Utah, Caleb Lomu. Um, I another pick I'd be happy with as a bit of a Bears fan. Um, Definitely think O-line is a good move for them to go in this first round. They definitely could use some other things on defense. I wouldn't mind. There's a few edge rushers I have going a little later in this round that I wouldn't mind them taking here, as well as some D tackles. I would not mind a defensive line move here, but I think it's likely they go offense. I mean, they're gonna wanna go offense in every first round, as long as Ben Johnson is at the helm, I feel like.
Yeah, that's entirely fair. I think Ben Johnson's going to lose the battle this year. I think they're gonna go defense here, and this is where I've got the third safety coming off the board here in Emmanuel McNeil Warren. I think the Bears go with the Mr. Toledo here and
Yeah,
feels like what is actually one of their needs on defense, especially with Jaquan Brisker heading out. So
right. Yeah, very timely. They're definitely gonna feel Brisker's, absence, so I like that pick for them there. Let's move on to 26. We got Buffalo, the Bills. I have them going D tackle here. I think Peter Woods out of Clemson's the best D tackle in this draft. Um, but most mocks I'm seeing and most people are really high on Lee Hunter out of Texas Tech. So I have the Bills thinking of the same mind as them, not me, and going with Lee Hunter. But do want to give a shout out to Peter Woods because most mocks I'm seeing it, he's fallen into day two, and I think that's a guy to look out for this year. I think he can be very disruptive in the middle. But yeah, Lee Hunter.
fair enough, fair enough. Buffalo, I think their biggest need is at the linebacker position. And I think they're going to be very comfortable taking Heisman candidate Jacob Rodriguez out of Texas Tech here. I think they'll be very pleased to get him at 26.
Dude, he's an absolute stud.
He is very good. And they
Yeah,
lost Matt Milano, so they really they need to replace him.
yeah. He is
And I think
fire.
that this is I think this is a guy that is definitely going to be here at 26.
I
Like
think so
I think
too.
I
I
probably have him going earlier than most people do. Actually, I think he falls into day 2 a
Yeah,
lot for a
I was
lot of
just gonna
people.
say I do have him falling in today too, but I just want to say I I don't think he's a day two talent. I think
Yeah.
he's phenomenal and certainly worthy of going day one. I like the pick there. But yeah, it's just like we said, an undervalued position. It happens all the
Yep.
time there at linebacker. But yeah, definitely a fun player to watch next year. Faux show. Moving on to 27, we have San Fran, the Niners. This is where I have Jermon McCoy out of Tennessee going. I think corner is certainly a position they could use some help with, but I mean, there's plenty of needs here. Um, Safety is pretty glaring, but I kind of have all my day one safeties already gone. Even with three, I mean, three safeties going round one is pretty rare, I feel like, and that's what both of us have. Um, so I would be shocked to see a fourth. Again, they could go edge. I have a little bit of an edge run coming up here, and any one of these guys I could also see going to the Niners.
Yeah, that's fair. I do also have a little bit of an edge run coming up here, and it will start with the 49ers. I do have them going edge here. I've got McCoy already off the board, and I don't think that the Niners are going to love the other options here at 27. So I've got them going Cassius Howell, edge out of Texas A&M here at 27.
All right. Um, yeah, very good pick there. I think he's good. Could see him going earlier than this too. I mean, it depends how edge crazy they get because there's a lot of edge talent in this draft. We both kind of have a major gap in the middle around one, but yeah, they start firing off again to end. Um, but yeah, moving
It
on, 28.
it's just funny how drafts work, man. I mean, the
Oh
team
yeah,
takes a chance on a position, and then they're like, "Oh no, they're taking edges. We got to go on a little run here." And then you
yep.
just all of a sudden,
Oh
there's like
yeah,
five of
and
them
it's the
gone, and
same
then
way
one.
in a fantasy draft. Like,
Yep.
I don't know if it's human nature or what, but it's like you got to just do your best to take best available, especially as we get later in the first round. Most of these teams are in contention. I mean, they have complete rosters for the most part. You really got to try and just and go with the best guy, and not be so set on a position. Um, but yeah, it happens. Teams panic and they make moves. I mean, hell, they'll trade up and spend all kind of capital to do it because they get scared about a run happening.
Jacksonville Jaguars on the Travis Hunter trade. It's not even, that's not even run. I just really
No.
wanted to be able to bring that up when you said like panic because
Also, I don't know if we've even
full-time
talked about it.
cornerback.
Yeah, exactly. Who the hell said that? I believe both the
Yeah.
Bulb City Chucks immediately. So kudos to us.
I got in a million arguments over the past year saying
Me
he
too,
is not a
dude.
wide
People
receiver. And I
like,
was like, you're so wrong. Like,
yeah.
he's not a receiver.
Oh man, that one
So,
felt really nice to be right about.
yep, I agree. I loved that one. And when my friend, after that news came out, was finally like, all right, you were right. I was like, yeah, I was. I knew I
Yeah.
was. I was
What was
waiting
that?
for this day. Yeah.
Didn't hear ya. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's awesome. That one did feel nice, a little extra nice.
Yeah.
It's not like we're not right a lot of the time, but that one felt extra nice. But yeah, let's move on. Number 28, the Texans. I have them going corner as well. And funny enough, also out of Tennessee, Colton Hood. Um, yeah, I think it's another position where they should look to shore it up. I mean, the value of having two stud outside corners is, I mean, it's an amazing thing. But they certainly need other things. They could use O line, but as we mentioned with the runs and all, I had a bit of a O line run to end the first here, or not end the first, but ahead of them. So I could see them addressing that more day two. But yeah, get a good value pick here at corner.
All right, that's fair. I think one of their big needs is as a D tackle. Their edges are fantastic. They certainly don't need any
Oh
adjustments
yeah,
there, but I do think that D tackle is a bit of a need for them. And for me, this is where I have my first D tackle coming off the board. And Peter Woods, Lee Hunter, you mentioned both of those guys. It's actually neither of them, and I think they'll go in a different direction here. And I think they'll go with Caden McDonald out of Ohio State here with pick 28.
yeah, yeah. That's another one. It's really those three, uh, and I've seen them all in different orders. But yeah, I'm definitely a Woods guy. Um, and speaking of Woods and Clemson and whatnot, I have his teammate going to Kansas City at 29, edge rusher TJ Parker. Um, yeah, this it's time to start the edge run, man. But yeah, any number of guys I could see going here. There's quite a few edges I like here late day one, early day two.
Yeah, same here. And actually, Kansas City 29, I've got the exact same thing happening. I've got them taking TJ Parker, edge out of Clemson.
Nice. Quite a few of those.
I know. They're kind of
Yeah, that's
randomly thrown in,
surprising. I
too. Yeah,
honestly
like,
thought we might like I thought Mendoza for sure, and then honestly after that I wasn't sure if we'd have any. But we started the
yeah.
top three exact and have had maybe three or four the same since.
Yep.
Interesting. But yeah, let's move on. We got three more here. Pick 30, the Dolphins, second pick of the first round. This is where I have Cassius Houch going, edge rush A&M. But yeah, again, any number of these edges and any number of order, but yeah, certainly a position they could use
Yeah,
because they need an
I think.
entire team.
See, so I think that. So in my draft, I had them taking Ruben Bain earlier. I did not have them taking a wide receiver earlier. But I have also had most of the wide receivers off of the board that I would consider day one talents. So I've got them going a different direction here. But it wouldn't surprise me if Miami maybe reaches a little bit from my perception of the wide receiver talent that's out there and takes a wide receiver here. But I've got them going corner here. So they go edge and then corner, really shoring up the defense. I've got them taking Avion Terrell out of Clemson. So two Clemson guys in a row here late in the first round.
Very cool. Um, Moving on to pick 31, we have the New England Patriots, and I have my second linebacker coming off, but yeah, it's not the Texas Tech guy who I think is probably the second best talent, but I have Georgia linebacker CJ Allen going here.
Okay, that's a good shout. I did consider trying to fit CJ Allen into my day one here. He didn't quite make it, but I do think he will certainly be a high to mid latest second round pick, but he didn't quite make it into my first round here. I've got the Patriots going edge here. I've got them taking Malachi Lawrence out of UCF here with pick 31.
Okay. Yeah, and to close things off at 32, I have Seattle taking an edge. This is where I have Keldrick Falk, the Auburn edge going. Think
Okay.
you had him a little bit earlier, but yeah, a lot of edges to to close out the round for us.
Yep, yep. My 32 here, running back, very glaring need for them with
It
Charbonnet and the
is.
ACL and getting rid of Walker. I think that's probably their biggest need, but I don't have them wasting a round one pick here on a running back, so we'll cut that off. But I did want to acknowledge they really need a running back
They do.
badly, very, very
Yeah,
badly.
I mean
Um,
Charbonnet is fucking hurt too, to make
yep,
matters worse, and obviously, yeah, Kenneth Walker gone. You're gonna see a shit ton of mocks having them take a running back here, but yeah, I had him hold off too. It's just why? Get it on day
yep.
2, come on.
This is where I've got Caden Proctor going. I've got Caden Proctor going here at 32. So he still fits into the first round, but not quite where he would have been probably a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, not bad. Not bad at
I'm
all.
curious to see how this turns out. As we mentioned, we didn't do any trades. There will certainly be some trades, and that certainly
Yeah, it's
messes
gonna
some
fuck it
things up.
all up.
Yeah. But honestly, last year, if I remember, there were some like fun ones that we got right that were just like pulling it out of nowhere. I think my personal favorite one actually was I had Gray Zabel go into Seattle first, late in the first round. I'm like, holy crap, I actually
Yeah.
got that right. It's always
Oh,
it's
yeah.
always fun and
Oh,
it's
making
really
mocks
worked out.
is always a good time. But yeah, the trades do usually throw a wrench in it, but yeah, it is really fun when you get one right, especially later in the rounds.
Yep, exactly. And it'll start with pick 2 and 3. Which order do those two guys go in? Because I think they will be picks 2 and 3, but what order do they go in? Man, I certainly couldn't tell you. Unless the Cardinals do surprise the world and go Jeremiyah Love, in which I will rip this paper in half and be like, God fucking damn it, Cardinals, you continue to be a bad franchise.
Yeah.
Since
I think
the
they gotta
Carson
get
Palmer
out of
days.
there. I really do.
Yeah.
They ought to trade back, get a bunch of capital, but I mean, if Reese is sitting
I
there,
think if
it's
I think if Reese goes second, they should trade out. I think if Reese is
yes.
sitting there for them at 3, I think they should take Reese.
Yep. Couldn't agree
That's
more.
my opinion. Yeah. We'll see. We'll see. It would just make so much sense for the Jets to take the player that I believe in less at number 2, which is what I had them doing because they're the Jets. So,
Before we go, do you see anything from the crazy man Howie on day one? I mean, I'm sure he'll make moves throughout the draft, day 2, maybe day 3, almost certainly. But do you see anything happening day 1?
ah, given the AJ Brown news, if there was a stalwart wide receiver or maybe just a wide receiver he loves, I could see that. I could see
Yeah.
him making a move for that. I don't know if Howie sees a guy that's worth giving up draft capital
Right.
for to move up and go and get him. I don't know, but I think that's the one scenario where that might happen. I don't think that he'll move up to take the edges after David Bailey and Arvell Reese, and I don't think he'll go up the capital required to get into the spot 2 or 3.
Yeah.
That would be
Yeah.
absolutely insane. Um, so I don't think so. I think Howie will focus more on the day 2 and 3 moves, move here and there a
Yeah.
little bit to pick
I
his
agree.
guys.
And we have so many picks day 2, day 3. Like that is just something Howie's been so good at the last few years, and he always seems to condense them, and then he'll flip the script the next day, day 3, and he'll end up getting more picks. So I'm sure we'll end up with a lot of rookies at camp. But at the same time, I think we may condense some and get some guys that we shouldn't have a shot at getting. But yeah, I don't see anything crazy happening round 1 with him.
Yeah. And the last point that I want to make before we sign off here from this 2026 NFL mock draft episode is I don't have Ty Simpson going in my round 1 here, but if we were making trades, I wouldn't be surprised if in the 25 to 32 range, there is a team that tries to make a move to grab Ty Simpson in that range. Looking at my paper here, and I mentioned it earlier, wouldn't be surprised if the Rams moved out of the number 13 spot to try to maybe get back some of the draft capital that they gave up to go and get McDuffie. And I also mentioned I wouldn't necessarily be surprised if Kansas City tries to use their second pick to move up and get Sadiq if he's still there.
Yeah,
I could totally see a Rams moving back to 29, Kansas City moving up to 13, Rams bring in maybe another, that's a pretty big jump, 16, so maybe a second first rounder at very least, a second and a third, if not another first rounder, just kind of spitball in there. But I wouldn't be surprised to see those two flip. Kansas City takes Sadiq at 13, and then Rams take Ty Simpson with pick 29, given that Stafford is probably in maybe his last year. Maybe he's got 2 more. I don't really know, but
I know.
that's not something that would surprise me. And if it's not the Rams, it wouldn't surprise me to see a team trade into the late end of the first round to go ahead and take Ty Simpson.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it would make a lot of sense for the Rams to trade back. I agree with you there, and yeah, I wouldn't be mad at this. I want somebody to freaking learn from Stafford. I really do.
I know.
Especially liking
Please.
the Rams, like it'll help. It'll certainly help their future if you get that wisdom onto a youngster. But yeah, Ty Simpson also my second quarterback, but yeah, I really don't see him going day 1 if I'm the one making these picks. But yeah,
I agree.
I think the Steelers could do some dumb shit, or like you said, yeah, maybe somebody trades back where it makes a little more sense and it's not so early at 21 to the Steelers, a team that really needs a wide receiver, as you mentioned.
Yeah. And last question, since we are only talking about round 1 here, but I do want to ask day 2 or day 3 for Drew Aller. I would like to hear your opinion. Bad injury, but he's had a really good
He
combine
has,
pro day.
yeah,
Yeah.
he did. And he has a
And he's a
lot of
good
the tools guys are looking for in the NFL. Like they're looking for his just raw natural talent. And I don't think it's a bad build. Like it's not bad to build off of him. Like he certainly needs to improve in areas, but like that is a guy I would look to get. And you can develop him. He's certainly not going to come right in and start, but yeah, it's something that could work out in the future. So I would not be shocked if he goes day 2. I definitely don't think the second round, but yeah, I could see him going
yeah.
round 3 or round 4, but I don't see him making it to round 5. So yeah, I think day 2 or 3, but yeah, certainly early if it's day 3.
That's fair. I've got him round 3 or 4 right now as well. The injury really sucked, and the way Penn State season played out really sucked because I think if he played anything close to like he did the year before, where they went to the semifinals, I think he's probably a top 10 pick, just
Oh
based
yeah.
on physical
Well,
physical
and
build
and
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 the
like
raw
you said,
talent there. So
Nussmeier's kind of the same way, and going into last year, it's like Nussmeier was project like he was fucking Mendoza. Like he could have been the first pick of the draft. And it's the same way for Aller or Klubnik. Like all of those guys had so much hype behind them, and they all collapsed for a various bit of reasons. But yeah, I think all three teams are going to draft them, and I just hope they get a chance eventually. I mean, all three of them are going to be drafted into backup roles, most likely. Although, if I am the Steelers, I'm getting one of them and just letting them battle with Will Howard and Rodgers if he's there, and hopefully you start Rodgers. I mean, Will Howard could use another year of learning, and then you teach this youngster too, and then you have a true battle the following year, Will Howard or X, and you see who comes out on top. But yeah, as for the others, I mean, you could sit in a backup role for who knows how long. I mean, you know how the NFL is. There's a lot of luck
Yep.
involved. Where are you going to go? What situations are going to unfold? And yeah, but I would like to see each of them, especially our boys, Aller and Nussmeyer, actually play in the NFL. Um, but yeah, I don't know. What we shall
Yep.
see. They're gonna have to deal
We
with a depth chart and being buried on it at the start.
yeah. That's fair. I do feel like they're both guys that could come in and be a number 2 right away. I think that's okay. They're
Yeah, I
definitely
think there'll
not
be
gonna
a
start
two,
right away.
but
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. They're certainly not gonna start right away, as maybe they
right.
would have coming into this year, you would have thought, but anyways, that wraps up a very long-winded but yet super exciting first round 2026 NFL mock draft done by yours truly, Palm City Chucks. As always, we love and appreciate y'all for listening in. We hope you enjoyed. We would love to hear where you think some of these guys are going. So let us know in the comments, and we will be back with you post draft.
Let it be CC!